Chiefly, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Having money on my mind, I having money in my pocket. Bone marrow roasted, spread it on the rosemary bread, lightly toasted, drizzle with the vinaigrette.
Alright guys, before we get started, look at my link tree, look at the relevant links, join my Telegram, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. I don't post many pictures because I'm focused on crypto at the moment, but look at the passive profit platforms. This video is going to be focused on the altcoins that I think are going to do well, but it's going to be introduced with the Bitcoin current cycle and where we currently are. So if you don't want to hear about all of that stuff, just go skip ahead, look at the timestamps below. Let's get into the video. What's up YouTube, it's your boy Kakashi Crypto. This is how's it going down. In this episode I'm going to be telling you guys about the altcoins that I'm bullish on and just the overall analysis of the crypto markets. So first of all, something a bit depressing to show you guys. When I first got into Bitcoin, okay, this was the price. This was, I can't remember, 2013, 2014. Obviously, the price now is like £13,000 or something, which is just ridiculous. It's like a 50 or 60x. But the reason I'm showing you this is because at the moment, yes, Bitcoin is doing well. But if you think about the next 5 years, the next 6 years, if you own a piece of this infrastructure, a piece of this network, imagine how valuable that will be, okay? Just imagine. And I know it's a lot of time, but just think of, if you change your mindset, then you change the results that you get from what you invest in. So a lot of these on-chain metrics, they've started to change their models now, and you actually have to pay. So this is the only stock to flow model available that gives you a projection of the Bitcoin price in the future. And you can see here that according to this model here, that Bitcoin will be around $100,000 in the next year or so. But often, as we've seen in the past, Bitcoin tends to outperform the stock to flow model by some percentage points, or quite a significant amount. Anyway, the reason why I'm showing you this is because, in my opinion, as well as other professional data analysts and data scientists' opinion, Bitcoin has an unlimited upside. Okay, what do I mean by that? Well, if you look at the consumer price index just for the dollar alone, and the dollar is the current world reserve currency. I don't know if this will be the case for the rest of our lifetime because China are an emerging superpower, but basically, this can go to an infinitesimally small number. So this could go down to 0.001 or whatever. And the dollar could potentially still beat the world's reserve currency. Not to talk about CBDCs or anything, because that's just going to make this video too long. But as this continues to go down and down and down, the price of Bitcoin will go up and up and up and up. Okay, simply because of the printing that's going on and simply because of the scarcity that is going on. Okay, just to give you guys an idea of how scarce Bitcoin is. For all of the people in the world, 7.6 billion, okay? This is the amount of Bitcoin that you can have per person, okay? This is the amount. Just to let you know how much Bitcoin that is. Okay, guys, so as you can see here, that is £32 and 93 pence per person. Okay, that's how much Bitcoin is available per person. This doesn't include a growing population. Now, obviously, yes, the baby boomers, they are in their later stages of life, but regardless of that, the human population is still going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And if blockchain is going to be the financial infrastructure of the world, everything's going to be digitalized and blockchain based, then just imagine owning a piece of this network. Okay, just imagine. So obviously, yeah, I know you may not own a lot of Bitcoin now. You may have a couple £100 worth, a couple £1,000 worth, but long term, that's going to be so valuable. So not to tell you guys what to do, but I'm personally not going to sell a lot of my Bitcoin. I'm just going to sell enough to do what I'm planning to do. The reason why I'm saying this is because, yes, Bitcoin is going to do well. It's going to do 10x, whatever. But altcoins, they can, if you position yourself correctly in the right altcoins, let's say in the top 10 altcoins, then you could get, 10x's, you could get 20x's, okay? So for that reason, this video is going to be mainly focused on altcoins that I believe are going to do well. Alright guys, just to say, altcoins are very, very volatile, more volatile than Bitcoin. So you want to be using them to accumulate more Bitcoin. With altcoins, you can get very, very rich or you can get wrecked. So for the purposes of this video, I suggest, sticking with altcoins in the top 10, maybe top 100 if you do have an appetite for risk. If you go to Uniswap, then there's chances you can get rug pulled and there's chances that you can lose all of your funds. It's happened to me before, so that's why I'm not recommending it to you as a beginner who may or may not know a lot about crypto. So, in my opinion, the top 10 will be safe, but we're going to go and do an in-depth review of the altcoins that I think are going to do well. Some will be in the top 10, some will be in the top 100. Okay, so from my understanding, Ethereum is one market cycle behind Bitcoin. Okay, if we look at Bitcoin in around 2016, 2017, it was around the same price that Ethereum is now. Okay, so 2016, 2017, where are we? This was after the halving. Okay, we are, I don't know, a couple months after the halving. Bitcoin was around $700 or so. Yeah, Ethereum is roughly, in my opinion, is roughly in this stage now. So in terms of the gains, I'm not going to say this is exactly going to happen. This is purely a speculative analysis based on previous performance. But if Ethereum is anywhere like Bitcoin was in the previous market cycle, then we could see potentially anywhere from a 10x to a 31x. Okay, so I've already had a double of my money since I bought Ethereum back here. So I bought it around 200. No, I bought it around $190 or so. So more than a 2x. Okay, so I personally think where it's just like Bitcoin back in 2016, 2017. None of this is financial advice. This is just my experience and my opinion. But things are going quite well for me, so take that as you will. Okay, so we can disregard Tether because this is a stable coin, and unless you want to yield farm and get 10% APY on your stable coins, then there's no point holding Tether. XRP, this is another shitcoin in my opinion. I do think that it does well once Bitcoin surpasses its all-time high, so potentially in Q1 2021 or December of this year that it may do well. But in general, when Bitcoin surpasses its all-time high or reaches a new all-time high, that's when money tends to flow into XRP. Historically, anyway, that is not a guaranteed fact. So I'm not recommending XRP. A coin that I am recommending though is Chainlink, simply because of the fact that it holds its value against Bitcoin. So what do I mean by that? But if we look at Link BTC, we can see here, this is on the logarithmic chart. We can see that it has boom bust cycles, okay, but it's trending upwards. Now, this isn't to say that this trend is going to continue forever, but so far, so good, okay? Ultimately, we are in this nice upwards trending channel, and I do believe this will continue. Why do I believe it will continue? Well, because oracles are important. If you guys don't know what oracles are, basically, oracles transmit data from the real world into the blockchain, okay? While you may not think this is important, but if you think about where the world is going, with CBDCs, they're going to need on-chain data feeds for them to, have accurate price data in terms of the price of their CBDC, for example. So yes, these CBDCs, they may form their own oracles, but these oracles are susceptible with hacks. I've seen this with Harvest Finance. I've seen this with other protocols as well. If they use reputable oracles such as Chainlink, such as Band Protocol, which we'll be talking about a bit later on, such as DR, then this mitigates their risk, and it also gives them more verified information in terms of the price. So rather than using one oracle, they can use an aggregate of prices and get the average price of the data that they're looking for. You see this with exchanges. One exchange does not have one data feed. They have several different data feeds, and then they aggregate the price, okay? So that's why I think Chainlink is important. So for that reason, I'll be talking about Band. Now, in terms of Band's price against Bitcoin, it hasn't held its value as much. I do think that if Chainlink picks up and continues to hold its price, which I hope it will, then Band will do that as well. Simply because Band is like the alpha. Chainlink is the alpha male. Band is the beta male. Okay, we have these red lines represent the Fibonacci retracement levels. So this is the top, and this is the bottom. We've seen that this price level has been respected and it's bounced off of it at least 3 times or so. So hopefully in the future we don't go past it. But if it does, then I don't believe it's the end of the world, as I do believe there'll be a new alt season in the next couple of months, if not weeks or so, and I just do believe it's imminent. But as you can see here, I've circled the key levels which have been historically good times to buy banned protocol. At the moment in USD, it's around $6 or so, $6.11 or something like that. But we don't want to be measuring our altcoins against fiat. We want to be measuring it against Bitcoin because ultimately that's what we want. Okay, so for that reason, yes, this may be like catching a falling knife, but if this price level is to be held and respected, then we could see price trend sideways and then continue to trend upwards in the next couple of months or so. Next on our list, we have Yearn Finance. So Yearn Finance is basically, it finds you the best yield for your crypto. Okay, so you put your funds into Yearn Finance's protocol, and then they would deposit your funds into several DeFi protocols, earning you the best yield. So this is what institutions are currently using. I believe you would need a lot of capital for you to see decent rewards and benefits of this protocol. But even for the shrimp of crypto, the small retail investor, this can be quite profitable as well. However, there are many other yield farming protocols that are more beneficial but also carry a lot higher risk. But the reason why I'm mentioning YFI is because we've had a bullish crossover on the 8 EMA and the 13 EMA. Now, this isn't to say that this price trend will continue. However, I was skeptical when the initial price surged up against Bitcoin, thinking that it would go down. It did retest these EMAs and now it's continuing to trend upwards. So if this price trend is to continue, then just from where we currently are now to where the all-time high is, this would be roughly a 2.1x return on your money. And this line I drew yesterday, okay? So this shows how much the price of Yearn Finance has gone up in one day. It's gone up around 12% or 11%, something along those lines, okay? So you can see here on the MACD that this is starting to trend upwards as well. We're starting to see bullish histogram candles, so this is a good sign. So potentially it could be a good hold for the next month, 2 months. Remember, guys, with these altcoins, you don't want to marry them, okay? You want to trade them short term, flip them into Bitcoin. This is why I'm showing you the Bitcoin pairing for these coins. Okay, so another coin which I think is going to be hot in DeFi will be Aave. So Aave is similar to Yearn Finance, however, the yields are a lot less, and it's for more institutional players, I would say. You can earn Aave tokens via lending, or you can earn Aave tokens via borrowing. However, the APY for lending isn't so high, and for borrowing, it is a lot higher. In the summer, we saw the DeFi rewards for Aave a lot higher. Now, I believe that the rewards have sort of been drained out of the protocol, so they're not as fruitful as they once were. However, for institutional players, this is a very respected and audited contract which I think can do well. So in terms of its Bitcoin price, you can see here that it's starting to trend upwards again. We have had a bullish crossover on the 8 EMA and the 13 EMA, so this indicates that we're going to see bullish price action, at least for the short term anyway. We've seen that since the 6th of November, we have been in a bullish trend. Now, these lines, you can forget about these lines. These are just pure projections on where I think the price will go. They're just purely speculative, and you don't have to pay attention to them. I just think this is what the price will do. So this is why I've sort of haven't entered these coins. And just to give you guys a precursor, I haven't yet entered any of these coins yet, but I'm looking to, okay? So just to give you 100% transparency and be clear on that. So this is Zilliqa. Potentially we could be setting up a descending wedge where we are currently going back and forth between the resistance lines before a potential breakout. However, with altcoins and their Bitcoin pairings, they can easily get disregarded and become invalidated. So for this reason, that enter this with risk. At the moment, we are currently in a downtrend, so that's why it's very risky. These could continue to bleed for the foreseeable future before they then have a pump to the upside, as we saw with the summer pump for Zilliqa. But if you are bottom fishing, then it could be a potential good entry. However, if it does continue to go lower, then you would sort of have to dollar cost average your way down just to sort of get an even price on the price that you've paid for your Zilliqa token against Bitcoin anyway. One other token that I do believe should be, kept on your guys' radar is Polkadot. So why do I mention Polkadot? Well, basically, Polkadot is an Ethereum competitor. Gavin Woods is the founder of Polkadot. He was also a co-founder of Ethereum, and for Polkadot is a well-respected coin. It's in the top 10. It's, I think, the 8th coin in the top 10. But the reason I mention this is because they're planning to have interoperability, which not a lot of coins have at the moment. Okay, once everything picks off and everything turns out the way it should, then obviously people are going to want to swap their coins for other tokens. So if that becomes a thing and Polkadot is the only platform to offer it, then obviously getting in now at these levels would be phenomenal still. However, as we've seen on the Bitcoin pairing for Polkadot, it's going down. It's in a downwards trending channel. However, this typically is a bullish pattern, as these tend to break out violently to the upside. The only problem is when will it break out. So that's one thing you have to keep your eye on. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, it's gonna break out on this date. You guys will have to sort of keep alerts on your phone or on your Binance account. But yeah, it's definitely a project to keep an eye on, as interoperability will be a key. Okay, the last coin that we have is Kava. So in terms of the BTC and Kava pairing, we can see that it's similar to the end of the Wall Street cheat sheet cycle end. And what I mean by that is we tend to have the rally, we have the disbelief, the mass hysteria, then it goes into the depression phase, and now we are entering the disbelief phase, I believe, or we are just one stage or two stages before that. So potentially Kava could start to trend upwards against the Bitcoin pairing and basically repeat the previous not all-time high, but basically it could repeat the cycle that we saw in summer. Okay guys, so a lot of people are saying that DeFi is dead, but I do not personally believe that at all, simply because of, if you look at your bank account, the rewards that they're giving you for savings is basically nothing. It's 0.1%. That's just, it's insignificant. Whereas if you go to apps like crypto.com, Binance, BlockFi, for example, you can earn up to anywhere from 6% to 8%. And even on Celsius app, you can earn up to 22% yield on your crypto. So I don't think that will stop anytime soon, especially with the current environment that we have going on. Even if you don't want to stake your crypto, you can still stake crypto, but you can stake stable coins and you can get up to 10% yield, which is well over 10x what you'd get in a bank. Okay, so for that reason, I don't believe that DeFi is going to go anywhere. If anything, it's just getting started. I do believe that there will be potentially negative interest rates, if not negligible interest, for the foreseeable future. We've already seen that governments are trying to increase the tax by doing very, very silly and unfair things, which will be a detriment to our generation. If you are a millennial, then it's kind of unfair for us at the moment, but where there's a will, there's a way, and I believe crypto will be our savior, basically. So yeah, that's been the video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found value in it. If you have, smash the like button, hit subscribe, all that good stuff.